Okay, so this case was about Martha Rinaldi. She chose to take a position with Potomac Waters over Deep Dive Pizza because she thought Potomac had the most potential for her in terms of it was a larger company. They were well known for their marketing excellence and also their willingness to train and develop team members. So she went into this job with that premise, and she's getting quite a different experience. And but it seems to be maybe just with her immediate team. All right. So, how did Rinaldi get into this mess in the first place? Is there something she did wrong?
I don't think she did anything wrong. And she's detail oriented. She's black and white. And personally, I never would have gone with them because I don't think that way. But that could just be her brain. You know, if someone calls me up and says, "Join us," I'm in. Let's have a party. I don't look at the numbers. But for her, it's probably the right choice.
Yeah, I feel like she did do a lot of homework on the company. She researched and she asked questions. She went and talked to some of the managers, and she had a really good vibe going. It says that they seemed willing to spend time helping her. So she got a great impression when she went, and then a completely different experience when she started the job.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. When she went and did like before when she was thinking about it and stuff, she said she got like positive feedback from everybody, that it was really good. Things were working for them, so it looked like a good option.
All right, what do you think is the main problem, or some of the problem? There's more than one.
I don't think the company was prepared to onboard her at all. And I mean that in a sense, like the HR director didn't even seem prepared on the day to introduce her to her desk. Follett, or however you pronounce it in this case, wasn't prepared at all. Everyone seemed, I don't know, not so wrapped around the idea of bringing her into the team. And it's not a great way to enter the workplace. I mean,
Right.
it reminds me of how I started with the company where I am now, way back in 2009, where I was hired while my boss was on vacation because he was resistant to hiring someone, and the other leaders kept on bugging him to do it. He kept saying no, and then when he went on vacation, they just hired me anyhow. And
wow.
when I came in on my first day, I was all excited to like shake his hand, like, "Hi, I'm Agent Raider. I'm your new Geek Squad agent." He just looks at me like, "Oh, okay."
We didn't really want you here.
Right. And like for the rest of my time there, I was like the agent that he didn't choose. So I know how it feels to be somebody that the company isn't prepared for or isn't planning around.
Right. Okay.
Who did it say was involved in the hiring? It was someone's recommendation in the company, someone that was 33 that said, "We need to get a bunch of MBAs hired."
I think that was Batista.
That's the young gun? It was
That,
someone young.
I
couldn't find it again. There was one line that said, "We're bringing on this new wave of MBAs."
Yeah, I remember that.
Did anyone else remember it?
Yeah, I thought it was Baista or whatever his name is.
It's Vaughn, who's mid-30s.
Oh, I thought it was, I may be confusing him then.
Yeah.
If it was that fella, then he has no clue to begin with. So now I see where it's
Bautista
going.
was 33.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and it was his idea to bring on MBAs.
Okay.
So.
Got it.
All right. So the main problem seems to be between Martha and Follett, and then Martha and Vaughn. There's two separate things going on there.
Mm-hmm.
let's start with Follett. What is Follett's contribution to the problems?
She's too busy.
Is she?
Well, in her mind, she's too busy to help anybody.
I think she's an art major that has her head in the clouds somewhere else and isn't engaged at all. So maybe she is busy, but I think she's busy daydreaming.
Yeah, and she's not even there. She's like working from home most of the time.
At the same time, working from home isn't necessarily bad, but when a leader is stretched too thin on too many different things that they can't have a direct presence with someone that they're supposed to be able to call a direct report, that's the breakdown in leadership there. Whether or not they could have a good working relationship hasn't really been tested if they haven't been given proximity. People can work from home, and that's fine. But I think it's a lack of engagement that Follett hasn't actually taken much time to work with her direct report.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think she's not really all that interested in helping. I think, yeah, something's not right there. And it says the one time that she did go in to Follett's office to ask her a question, says Follett barely glanced away from her computer screen and told Rinaldi to ask Jamie, please, impatiently. Isn't there still a lot more for you to read and familiarize yourself with anyway? So it's like she couldn't, I mean, even if you didn't have time, would you treat somebody like that? Would you just be so blatantly rude? Wouldn't you just say, I'm really busy at the moment, but can you come back at, 3 o'clock?
Yeah.
So,
Especially where she's putting in the effort. She's trying to do something more and trying to help, but she's not even getting the chance because they won't explain what she needs to do.
right. And they're not really giving her any meaningful projects or just giving her grunt work. What about Vaughn? What's his contribution?
I don't get this guy. He's a statistician, and he has her run the numbers. Like, he should have been all over and excited to take care of that for Follett. Why was he passing that off?
I don't know. Good question.
Yeah.
I think Martha was really good with presentation, PowerPoint, that kind of thing. Maybe he was using her for those skills.
It didn't make any sense. Anywhere where these people could have made contributions, they passed the buck to someone that I thought was less qualified.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's too many hot dates going on. I didn't like this one at all.
All right. What unhealthy behaviors were there between Vaughn and Follett?
All of them.
Seems like they were getting in a lot of arguments.
Yeah.
Was that all Vaughn, or was some of that Rinaldi?
I think all Vaughn, but that's me.
I don't know. Because the way she reacted in some of the emails and like yelling at him in the workplace was a little much. I don't know.
Yeah, especially for somebody just starting out. I think that Vaughn is in the wrong. The way he's treating her, and other people in the office had noticed it as well. But she made it worse by how she responded and reacted.
She was kind of disrespectful.
Understandably so, though, since they didn't pay her the time of day, or they didn't even recognize the work she had done on the slide presentation.
Yeah.
That's not going to feel good. So why is Rinaldi concerned about her job situation?
Because so far it has not been very pleasant. And she has an option to leave still.
Mm-hmm.
there were expectations set during the interview process, and none of those have been followed through. And she was excited to have a rigid guideline for how her performance was going to be assessed, and then she had to go begging for her first assessment. What I want to know is Doug the guy that's under Batista? I always think of them
Yes.
as first names, not last. The guy that interviewed her originally.
Yeah, he's under Batista, but he
Yes.
doesn't seem to be in the picture much either.
Well, he's gone. He actually leaves the building and leaves his team in a lurch, right? She goes to help out with some IT stuff. It's like he left, he's taking the resources. This is the main go-to guy, but he's not around. I think there's a huge disconnect in that company. If he's the face that's bringing on the new hires and the person that they're connecting with, but then he's gone, literally left the building, he doesn't want to be there. There's a two-sided coin here, and she needs to figure out why he's leaving. Why isn't he staying? Why isn't he taking the team with him? Why isn't he caring about what's happening back at the plant?
Okay. There's some questions here, and I'm not sure I understand them. Hopefully you guys understand them better than me. It says, what are Rinaldi's sources of power?
I don't think she has any.
I don't
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, unfortunately, as an employee in this situation, her biggest sense of power is she can peace out, she can leave, she can go to a different job offer, but as a new employee, you usually don't have much leveraging or negotiating power in a relationship like that. Nobody likes the new guy in the office bucking the system and saying, hey, I have a problem with the established way of doing things. Everyone else is comfortable. No one wants that person to rock the boat. There are a great myriad of feelings that come out from that.
So, is there an established way of doing things? That's something I've found lacking.
What was interesting to me is that they have a great reputation for training and developing their team, and everyone else seems to be impressed with Martha and willing to help her. Everyone but her own team. So is it a problem with just her team, or is it the company?
Or is it just Rinaldi?
It does seem like just her team.
Yeah.
That's kind of the impression I got, although I like your point on the Berman guy. Yeah, he really wasn't there. So, I mean, she got hired under the assumption that she would be trained. That's one of her main reasons for taking the job, and that's not happening. So, what do you think she should do?
I say check out.
Yeah.
I'd say the same.
Yeah. I'd like to know why she feels she needs training.
Yeah, because Deep Dive Pizza was like willing to give her leadership of a special projects team, so they obviously thought she was ready.
Right. So one of the things that I thought is that she needs to work on building credibility. Obviously, they've seen her talent, and I think, you know, Batista is the highest up, and he loved her work. So I think she has real potential at the company if she can just work out the problem with her current team. What do you guys think? Do you think it's worth fighting for? Because she likes the potential of the company.
I think
Should she leave just because those two are jerks?
Well, I think one of the options for her was to ask if she could like switch to a different brand or like department within the company. I think the only problem with that is if she gets told no, then the others all know that she wants to leave and doesn't want to be there. And so it could cause even more issues, I think.
Okay, it wants us to list the advantages of staying and the disadvantages.
I don't see any advantages in staying.
No problem, Michael. Any last thoughts?
I honestly think that she should leave. It's kind of weird for me to say that because it's been hard for me to leave opportunities that I really believed in. She's obviously weighed this out pretty thoroughly. So for her to feel so good about the decision and then flip so quickly, it doesn't exactly look good on her brand as well when she goes to the next people having to explain what a mistake she made. But she also doesn't want to seem like she's not a team player by the way she presents it and saves face, saying something along the lines of, they made a lot of promises to me that they weren't able to keep up with, and I chose the better route. So, depending on how she plays her cards, she could do really well at the next position, but I think she'll have more stability there, assuming this exact same thing doesn't happen.
Right.
Anyhow,
All right.
thanks for meeting, everybody.
All right. Thanks, Michael.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. What can Martha do to repair the relationship with Follett and Vaughn?
I'm too prideful. I wouldn't even try. So, what tips can you guys give me?
I think it did say she tried at the end, like with Vaughn at least. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah. And that's the one reason I thought maybe there's hope for her, is that when she did try to talk with Vaughn, he was very apologetic. And she found out that he was upset that he had been passed over for promotion. So can that be worked out?
I didn't
Yeah.
think it was true. Given the tree that they gave us at the end of the structure, where was he going to go? They never mentioned any vacancies in the company, and that would have put him at least on par with Natalie. If he got promotion, he was going to a different team, and they were going to be on the same hierarchy. I don't think there was any promotion.
And he's still fairly new, I thought. I didn't think he had been hired for very long.
Yeah.
He hasn't been there that long. But the fact that she got an apology, I thought, was promising for possibly repairing that feud they had going on.
Maybe. As a guy, I think no, but I'm biased.
All right. What could her lost opportunities be if she leaves?
I think she thought there was a better chance of advancement there in terms of getting into upper management. And so maybe that would be the lost opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. Jasmine, did you have a thought on that?
No, I agree. It says, well, actually, where was it? That they encourage promotions within the organization and that they change positions every 12 to 24 months. So I guess that's kind of promising that there could be a future there because they change so often.
Right.
And
I think, Deep Dive, I think, was pretty limited. I think it sounded like a great job, but it didn't sound like it could go anywhere else.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. All right. I am going to read the end of the story. Okay, Follett and Vaughn both left shortly, and Rinaldi learned that Follett had been job hunting during Rinaldi's time there. Rinaldi had 2 new bosses who admired her work and relied on her. She was promoted ahead of schedule.
Nice.
That kind of makes sense for why they weren't paying her much attention and could care less.
Oh, yeah.
But she didn't know that, right?
No.
All right. What do you think that Rinaldi learned about herself in this situation?
That she can get through hard things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that I felt that it was worth it to stay and just do grunt work or whatever she had to do, and then try everything possible to build credibility with the other teams, so that maybe she could get snatched up by one of the other teams. But yeah, I think she. What else did she learn? What about when Bautista and Follett both told her she needed to be more assertive and speak up in the meetings?
Every time she spoke up, she got slapped. So that was hard for me.
Okay, and it says, what have you learned about yourself and what motivates you at work?
No comments. I feel like I'm talking too much, Jasmine.
I don't really have a lot of work experience.
I want to get in. I want to do a good job. I want people to leave me alone. As soon as I start getting conflicting issues, I'm a little bit abrasive. I know that. I say, look, you told me one thing. Now you've given me something else. What is it? And if they don't know, then I just quit. That's my favorite thing. You know, you have to work with idiots, I find, but I want to choose which idiots I work with. I've got no problem leaving in the middle of the day on the spot and letting everyone know I'm out of there. I have no time or patience for that stuff.
Yep. I have a work experience that kind of can relate to this a little bit. I after I had gone to a couple of years at BYU, I moved back to Arizona, and I got a job with a commercial real estate firm. And so there were like 80 salespeople. There was a word processing pool, and I was hired just for the retail salespeople. So I didn't sit in with the rest of the word processing pool. I sat out by the retail salespeople, and so there'd begin to be this kind of power thing between one of the girls in the word processing pool was jealous, I guess, that I didn't have to be in there with them or something. I don't know why. And so she kept trying to, we would kind of, when I didn't have work for the retail people, I would help out the word processing pool. And we would do each other's work. So like one person might type something up and the next person might be the one who revises it. And so she kept trying to get me in trouble with the boss and saying I had made mistakes. And then I remember this one time she brought something to the boss's attention and said I had made a mistake on this letter or something, I don't know. And it was back in the day, you guys, I don't know even know if you'll know what this is. We used mag card typewriters. And so I went into the file and I saw the original typed copy and the things that I had typed, and then we had to put our initials if we were the one to revise it, and she was the one who had revised it and she had made the mistake. So I took it into the boss and just said, just so you know, she is the one who, and ever since that day, the boss loved me. Like I could do nothing wrong, and it's like, and she was mad at this girl, and so that girl ended up leaving, but I spent the next 10 years with this company, and I advanced, every year or so, and I ended up in the corporate office in LA. So I stuck through that sticky situation when I could have said, I'm out of here. I can't deal with this girl. But sticking with it.
How do you know when you should stick with it?
I don't know. Gut. I like the company. It was a good company, so it definitely is worth staying. And I now work for one of the former brokers that I worked for there, and I've worked for him for the past 25 years from home. So
good.
It turned out to be a great thing for me. All right. The last section is broad application of principles. So it says, how can managing up be applied at work? And what are the principles of power within an organizational structure?
I've never worked for big business, only like for myself or small groups of like 3 or 4 of us. So I've got no idea how any of that works.
Yeah, I don't feel like we were given any kind of reading on that, so I'm not really sure how to answer it. But it says, it said that people don't leave a company, they leave a boss. What do you think that is?
Well, I'm
I think
100% on
this
there.
has to do with power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think your boss creates the atmosphere, the mood, the tolerability for your job.
Yeah.
If you've got a terrible boss, it makes it really hard because you don't have the power the boss does.
I think like the only real power struggle I've been in ever was, the supervisor that I report to directly, he and I had a great relationship and could work anything out. But as soon as something got escalated to his superior, then it was all over. Nothing could go right. I had to be, made an example of always. And that was one of those situations where I was happy to walk out and then come back on my own terms. And it had nothing to do with the job or even my immediate supervisors. As soon as it got escalated, all right, don't need this stuff. So.
All right, and then the next question is, what are the key things that provide satisfaction at work?
No boss.
I think just being considerate of each other and respecting people, even if they're below you, you can still talk to them with respect. And like when you're asking them to do something, you don't have to be demanding like they were in some of the emails that they sent to Rinaldi. You can just have respect for people.
Mm-hmm. I think when you feel appreciated, respected, trusted, all of those are key qualities, and valued. Yeah, like they didn't even acknowledge the great job she did on the presentation.
Yeah.
So, all right. Any last comments on this discussion?
I don't think so. I'd still like some markers or something to help me know when I should be slugging it out and when I can go.
Well, I think
my gut.
My feeling is if you like the company, and the company, according to all indicators, was a great company and really was respected for their promotion of employees, it's a good company, and you just can't stand your current boss, I would just figure out a way around that. And if there is no way around that, then I guess leave.
That's him.
I think okay, let me pose this question. Do you think if Rinaldi went to Batista and said, okay, I really love this company, I think there's great potential, and part of the reason I took this job is because you guys have a great reputation for mentoring young employees, and that's not happening for me. These guys don't want anything to do with me. Do you think Batista would just really kind of be a little upset that her team leads weren't providing a good experience and we're setting a bad tone for the company as well?
I think so, but I don't think he would have handled it. Right? Assuming they have some sort of policies in place, it should go to that Doug guy that's between Natalie and Batista. Like, that guy just wasn't there. So I think Batista would be upset, but I don't think it would get taken care of.
Okay. Yeah, I guess maybe the Berman would be the guy to go to, but yeah, I just totally forgot about him in the story because he really wasn't there.
Yeah.
He checks right out. To me, that's the biggest flaw. I mean, I'm glad that it worked out for this person in the end and that they got new people in there, but I don't see how it could have worked out without this Berman getting back in the game. But at least on my case study, I went 2 avenues. Either get rid of Vaughn and Follett and replace them, or she had to leave. And so I think we at least picked the right thing. They left and it worked out.
Yeah. I think that was just really good luck for her.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for a good discussion.
Thank you.
And do we want to close with prayer?
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay, thanks.
Father in heaven, we're thankful for the time we've had to discuss this case and to wonder about what Martha should have done and how it worked out for her and how we can apply this in our life. Please help us to remember these principles when we're out there in the workforce trying to make our decisions so that we can choose good companies to work for and to know when we should stick it out through tough times and when we should move on. And we say this in Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, so I'm going to stop this.